I was being reached out by a lot of people in the
Mhm.
industry. I was very new to it though. As much as I'd been in it, I was new to the world of record labels and managers and all of that stuff. I didn't know what I was doing in that sense.
Right.
I I was having meetings with my mom and these managers and really trying to find somebody that I connected with, and I believe it was during COVID too, so or right before COVID.
Awesome. Well, my name is Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new record and everything else going on.
Okay, perfect.
Sweet. Just via what I've read about you, are you born and raised in Utah?
Yes, born and raised. I lived there my whole life.
Are you
Um,
still in Utah? Or not
no.
anymore? Oh, okay.
But well, no, so I love Utah. I love Utah. But I've lived in LA for just about 2 years now. So,
Quite different, I would imagine.
very different. Yeah, very different. I mean, you know what? Every I believe that every place has like their faults, you know what I mean? But
Sure.
it's definitely some getting used to for sure.
I bet. Well, what was it like growing up in Utah?
You know what? Very friendly. Everybody's very friendly and very homey. I think that's the one thing that I miss about obviously I grew up there, so I feel like it's home, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
living in LA, it definitely was the culture shock for sure. I'd say Utah's a bit of a bubble, but growing up I did travel a lot with my family, so I kind of got to be able to experience things outside of Utah. Um, but yeah, the one thing that I'd say is LA and Utah's just you're gonna go there, and if you pull over on the side of the road with a flat tire, somebody's gonna come help you, and if you're in LA, they're just gonna leave you there.
I could give you
So
the finger.
yeah, exactly. You ruined their day.
Right,
So
right, exactly. Your tire being blown out is their now, worst part of their day. Um,
exactly.
I'm from San Diego originally, but I live in Nashville now, and that's the one thing I noticed when I moved to here, Tennessee. I was like, "Wow." You'd be driving down the road, people would be waving at you, and I'm like, "Do I
Yeah,
know that person?" And then you just start to realize, like, "Oh, no, they're just waving because they're being kind," which is something I wasn't used to.
yeah.
But,
So how long have you lived in Nashville?
um, almost 4 years, a little over 3 years.
Okay. And you
I
grew
love
up in
it.
San Diego.
Grew up in San Diego, yeah. That was way
How do
different
you
for
like the
me.
weather versus
Um,
each other?
I to be honest, it doesn't bother me, I like it. It was nice growing up in San Diego because I was a skateboarder as a kid, and I could always be outside doing that. Here, it rains a lot,
Yeah.
and, tornadoes are interesting.
Mhm.
It snows, which you obviously got, I'm sure, in Utah, but,
The snow?
yeah, it was nice. It was cool. Like, I have 2 boys, and they get to go out and experience snow, and, it's just it's cool. It's humid too, which, is a lot different, but
Do you enjoy the humidity? Because that's one thing that I have a hard time with, not gonna lie.
you don't like the humidity?
No, I love dry heat. It's like when I'm in Nashville during the summer, I you can shower and walk outside and just need to go back in the shower. Like,
Right, yeah,
it's
you're already sweating.
you're
Right.
already sweating.
It is
But
kinda rough. I mean, I don't know, it's a toss-up because if I'm gonna be outside for a while and I'm in the dry heat and I know I'm gonna sweat anyway, I'm like, "Well, at least uh, it's already beginning early." Like, I've already got through the sweating part, but if you just wanna kinda be outside for a little bit and go back inside, like you said, you just took a shower and you're checking your mail and you're coming home and you're already sweating,
exactly.
it's rough.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I love it though. It's so much it's green and it's open and yeah, but
And people are very kind. Like, from what I've been to Nashville a few times, but every time that I've been, everybody's very hospitable and it's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Yeah, very southern, most people here, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, well, awesome. So you said you traveled around a bit though as a kid. Were you not moving a lot, just going different places where throughout the states or around the world or
Just throughout the states. Yeah. I've never left like the country, but
okay.
like I've stayed within the US, but my family is just very, very active. So we were always just traveling, whether that even just be to California. My cousins grew up here in California, so we were always just kind of back and forth. Um, Redwoods, Oregon, Washington, Seattle, we would do road trips,
Oh,
like
cool.
just road tripping in the van and experiencing a lot of things that way. So,
Nice. Do
yeah.
you have siblings?
I do. I have a lot of siblings.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I had to preface that because to me it's not a lot because it's what I grew up with, but for others it's always like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters. I'm the 3rd oldest of
Okay,
9
that
kids.
is a lot.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
is.
like you said, for you, it's like, yeah, it was just life. So
It's life.
four brothers and four sisters, and you were the third?
Yeah, 3rd oldest, so there's 9 kids total.
Okay.
My older sister, she's gonna be 25 this year, or 26? Yeah, 26 this year, and then the youngest, she's a year old. So,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one sibling, and she's 11 years younger than I am, and I
Uh-huh.
thought that was wild, but 26 years difference is
I know.
that's quite a bit.
Pretty crazy. You know what? I love it though. My older sister, she does have a daughter, so I have a niece, little niece.
Oh, oh,
She's
wow, that's wild. So
so they're
her
like
aunt wait, how old is the youngest a girl or boy?
a
In
girl.
your so you the aunt is younger than
The aunt's older than my niece. Yeah.
oh, okay, I was like, that would
By
be wild.
uh, by
A
a
few
little.
months.
Yeah. Well, I'd say almost, I believe that my niece, I wanna say is 6 months now.
Okay.
So and my little sister will be 2 this year, so they have a little bit of a gap.
That's funny, though. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really fun to see, when I was in high school, I remember there was 2 kids. There was an aunt and her nephew in the same class, and I always was like, "That is so weird," right? I was in
Right.
7th grade, and I was like, "That's crazy." And now I'm like, "I guess it's not that weird," you know?
Yeah. I wonder if your niece will make, or your sibling call your niece, like, auntie.
Ants?
Yeah,
I
that'd be so
know.
good.
I want I wonder too, but if anything, I think they're just gonna grow up like best friends. I think it'd probably
Right.
just be weird, but maybe she will. I
That
don't
should
really
just be
know.
funny. That's awesome. Well, so, as far as music goes, do you musical family, I did read that you started singing, obviously, at a very, very early age, but is there other musicians in the family? Like, how did you kind of get introduced to music?
Yeah, my family is all super musically inclined. My siblings all at least play one instrument. My mom played the piano all growing up. I mean, and I know she took vocal lessons when she was younger too.
Mhm.
But I'm the only singer in the family. I hope that there is to be more. The older that they get, I hope that maybe one of them picks it up as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all have a good ear. Not one of my siblings is tone deaf, so like I'd say we're pretty passionate about music all around. But it was probably my dad would have loved if we would have had a nice little family band. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so you're the only, like, songwriter, the musician, like, pursuing this, really.
pursuing, yes,
Got it. Right
yeah.
on. And what so is you vocals are obviously very early on. Did you play piano as well, like your mom did? Or
You know what? This is one of those things where I can tell people that I play piano, but I really don't. Like I can play a few chords and like just play by ear as far as
uh
that goes, but I'm not you cannot ask me to sit down and play you a song because it's just gonna sound like more chords. Um, but you
that's
know
all
what,
you
my
really need to
mom
write a song, right?
right, but my mom was very she wanted her kids to play an instrument, and I started playing the piano when I was 8 years old. I started taking lessons, and it was just one of those things where I didn't stick with it and fell out of it, and then would go back to it, and then would fall out of it. And do I regret it now? Like she said I would. Yeah, I do. But I hope to get back into it. It's something that's one of my goals is to really focus on the piano and actually being able to be confident to sit down and know what I'm doing.
Mhm. There's still time.
Yeah, there's still time.
Do you play another instrument? You said everyone in your family had to take an instrument or play an instrument, or were you just
Yeah,
it was
I mean, they
vocals
didn't.
kind of that took over for you because you love to sing?
Vocals definitely took over for me. I mean, I was
Okay.
always singing, always, always, always singing. I We were never like forced to play an instrument, but it was definitely something that even now I think is something so great to be able
Mhm.
to have with you throughout, like, your whole life. You know, music is so
100%.
beautiful, and if you can actually play an instrument, that's, like, an insane ability. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it was just I sang. So that
Mhm.
was my instrument. That's what I did. And I tried picking up guitar too. I did a few lessons in high school and, same thing. It's just like I'm not as not that I'm not as passionate, but I do think I get a little bit more frustrated at the process of learning.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. No, I can understand that. But it's interesting with voice is like you could pick up a guitar or piano and just like hammer at it and sound awful, and it's just like whatever. But the minute you open your mouth and you're bad, and someone goes, "Ooh," like you're off. Like it's such like a crushing thing to hear because it's like,
Yeah,
well, I can't really change my voice. I mean, I guess I can get better at singing, but I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. But you can obviously sing really well, so being able
yeah.
to do that, I feel like is such a different level of you could always learn an instrument. You can't learn to have a good tone and sing. I don't think. I mean,
You
it's
know
kind of
what? That's funny because I always get asked that is like, can you learn to be able to sing? And here's the thing. So like my vocal coach, I started taking vocal lessons when I was 13. And
okay.
I'd say, well, I did classical a little bit when I was 11, and then found my like main vocal coach when I was 13 who really understood like the realm that I was in. You know, he's very
Mhm.
pop based and just it's crazy the way that he explains how the voice works. But anyways, he's the first one to tell you like I don't sound good, but I know how to sing. Like I know how to he can hit whistle notes. Like this guy's mad insane. Like he's just so freaking good.
Mhm.
And but it's one thing to know how the voice works and be able to technically sing, but it's another to have that sound, like that unique tone.
Right.
And a lot of people can obtain that through practice, I think. If you really want to like force the sound on yourself and just be like, this is how I'm gonna sound, and really, really practice that and adapt to it, I do think that you could obtain something
Mhm.
um, that is unique. But I don't I don't know, you know?
Yeah, it's because I mean, tone comes to down to a lot of it, right? I mean, you watch American Idol, and there's a lot of people that are crazy vocalists. They can hit all these like insane notes, but then they don't win because the tone or there's just something else that you kind of have to have, I think, to be a successful
Yeah,
singer. Um, you're just kind of I don't know. I truly believe you're kind of just born more. The way that your voice sounds could definitely help you out quite a bit, and then you
yeah,
could learn to hit better notes. But
yeah.
you're blessed with with both of those um, things. So you have a great tone and you can hit notes, obviously. But so you knew that you could sing like 13, you said you took lessons. Like, were you performing at all? I mean, how did you really start to realize, like, oh, I love this? Like, this is what I want to do.
I started performing when I was 8.
Oh my.
Before that, though, I just would sing. You know, I just enjoyed it. I would find myself I did start writing songs as a little kid, but just, on a little notepad, but I don't think it had any substance to it or was any good, but I definitely was naturally already doing that without like just me listening to music growing up was, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write my own song," you know? And yeah, I have little videos. My mom has little videos of me just like she's on the rocking chair and I'm next to her and I'm like bald headed and I'm just singing with my little mic and I'm 2 years old.
I love that.
And that to me, obviously a lot of kids do that, but that was a passion of mine from a very young age. Mm.
And when you start writing, songs more, I guess take it a little more seriously. Are you still in, high school, middle school, or like writing your own songs and showing people? Like, when did you kind of get the passion to know, like, wow, or even validation, like, oh, your songs are really good. You should
Yeah.
continue doing this.
When I was 13, I was advised by my vocal coach to just my parents come into the room, they were at every lesson with me and he was just like, "Listen, like this is something that she is clearly really passionate about and wants to take to the next level. And in order to do that, the next, like, the path for her is YouTube covers, worry about originals later. Like, that was the advice that I was given, and that's the advice that I took, you know? And my parents were very like, "Yeah, we're all supportive, so whatever she wants to do," and that's how they've always been with all of my siblings. And but anyways, uh, when I was 15 was when I started writing my own originals,
Okay.
and
But you started at 13 doing covers on YouTube.
yeah, and then
And
when
did
I was
that start to I mean, you have a huge, obviously, social media following in general, but, like, on YouTube, were you gaining a lot of views, or, like, was it just something you enjoyed doing and you didn't care about that point of it at 13?
you know what? I uploaded my first video when I was 11 years old on YouTube. In my bedroom, my dad filmed it for me. It was like I had one of those bed frames that it was a bunk bed, like, at the top, and then at the bottom was the desk
Oh, yeah,
and all
like the l yeah, those are
coolness.
rad, like a little loft type
Yeah.
thing?
So we just set up, like, the camera and moved one of the desks in front. Anyways, and I did the Cup song, and that was trending at the time. And I did the Cup song. I was 11, and we uploaded that to YouTube. And that was my first YouTube video ever. And it's funny because you know, like the box TV, or not the box TVs, the box computers
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we had at the time, and we uploaded it, and I was so stoked because I was like, "This is it! Like, this is the moment, right?
"I'm gonna be a star."
I'm gonna be a star." And I sat there, and I just sat there and refreshed the page, right?
Oh,
And I was like, "Dad, Dad." I was like, "I have 100 views. Like, this is, like,
wow.
bizarre, right?" Okay, and my dad's just as stoked, and he's like, "Okay, leave it there, and then we'll come back to it in, like, an hour." Right? I was like, "Okay." So we come back to it, and I refresh the page, and it says 101. So, like, all the re all the refreshes were like, the views were me, just
Oh.
like refreshing views. I also don't know how that worked because
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if it would give you the same view,
they
'cause
wouldn't do that now, or else
wouldn't you?
people would
Yeah, people would just be sitting here all day,
yeah,
just refreshing to get
yeah.
views.
But
So
so
you
that
probably had
video
100 people, and then maybe the YouTube kicked it out of the algorithm at that moment or something,
oh,
who
it
knows?
definitely did not. It was like every refresh was like 46, 48, 49, you know?
That's amazing.
Um, anyway, so that eventually was taken down.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I have the video and I'll look back and cringe a little bit, but it's cool to see where, like, where I started, you know?
Right.
But anyways, and then, at 13 when I did the other covers that I was uploading, I wanna say I think my one video got, like, 50K views.
Jeez.
It was, like, really amazing, really cool. S I think 2 of them actually hit probably 50K, 70K views, and that was, like, my top most viewed videos on YouTube at the time.
Mhm.
I had uploaded a cover onto Spotify as well and Apple Music, and it was "How Far I'll Go" by Moana, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Or
okay.
it's by Alessia Cara, but it was in
It was
Moana.
in the Moana movie, you're right.
Yeah, and that did, I think, 3 million streams. It was
Holy
bizarre.
crap.
It was so bizarre, and that or maybe I was a little older. I was a little older than 13. I think I was 14 or 15, actually. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just know that that one did the most for me, and all of my audience was in the Philippines. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But
Yeah.
3,000,000 views, I mean, that or plays, that's crazy.
Yeah, wild. Really wild.
Wow.
But I was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
Yeah, I bet. You're like, "Okay, I should be doing that." And then do you start putting your own music
Yeah.
up on YouTube? Or
Yeah.
streaming, or, like, when did that, like, at what age? Just going off your Spotify, I mean, how far ago that was the one you're talking about, right? The
Yeah.
cover? And then
Yeah.
you put out, Whispering Pines, is that a cover as well, or that's original?
That's a cover. It's a Johnny Horton old twang country song.
Okay. And then you
Cover.
put out your Ghost EP,
Yes, and
and
that was when I was 15.
that's when you started doing original stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so 15, you have your own songs, and then how do you kind of start doing that? And were you worried at all about, like, your fan base knowing you for covers and then going like, "Well, I also write songs. Here's my original."
Not really. I
Okay.
don't I don't necessarily think that was a fear of mine. I actually just thought that I was doing the right thing. You know,
You were,
I
right.
um yeah, it's just like this is the
The
process. This is all
next
part of
step
the
and
process,
yeah,
next step. Yeah,
yeah.
and if anything, I thought that if my covers were known, people would then start to see my own original stuff. Now that's not always the case, but I wasn't fully dependent on covers, you know? I put them out there, but it wasn't there wasn't a ton out there. You know, I
Mm,
wasn't established as a cover artist.
right.
So,
So
uh,
you put out you said 15 when you put out the Ghost EP?
yeah.
Wow, so you were still in high school at that point.
Yeah, I was.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell me about those songs, and then do you like, are you known as, like, the songwriter at your school? And, I mean, to it's pretty vulnerable, right, to write an EP and present it and have your peers that can just listen and critique your, whatever, kids are mean.
Yeah. I really stuck to myself in high school.
Mhm,
Same with junior high. I mean, I was homeschooled and in public school, like on and off throughout my life. And that was just all by choice. I was given the choice to be able to be home if I wanted or to be in school. And I went to public school in ninth grade and just stuck it out till my senior year.
mhm.
And, anyways, but I don't know what people thought of it. You know what? I just did it. And
Okay.
sometimes I would be in class and people would be like, "Look," and they'd show that they had my song downloaded, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's rad.
"Oh, that's awesome," you know?
Mhm.
But I never talked about it ever, 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 ever,
Hmm.
because I almost was like, "I want nothing. I don't want anything to do with any of you guys."
You're like, "I'm out of this town. Give me 3
I
years."
I didn't that was really my mentality, honestly, and I don't know, I didn't like school. I didn't like it, I never enjoyed it, even, like, the social aspect of it, I felt I could do without. I just wanna do music, I just wanna have my career, and I want nothing to do with any of you or any of this. I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't know. But as far as people liking the music or me being worried about my peers, if anything, I was like, I'm just doing my thing.
Mhm.
Sure, I know I had thoughts of what if, I somebody judges me off of this, or even just me posting. It was posting. That's what bothered me. Was
Mm,
okay. I know that I need to post in order to gain a following, but how much is too much? And
right.
that's where I felt a little bit of worry about what other people would think of me is, oh, if I post twice a day, are people at my school, like people that I know, gonna literally roll their eyes, right?
Mhm.
And that was the only thing that ever like was a thought of, oh, what are people gonna think? It
Got it.
wasn't me doing music. I was very confident in myself in music
It was
and
just, yeah, it was the social media aspect of it. It was
social
like, "Oh,
media.
am I gonna known as, like, the person that's just spamming everyone with whatever it
Yeah.
may be."
Posting twice a day was not the cool thing to do. It's like posting once a month was cool,
Oh,
or having no posts on Instagram and being, like, mysterious was cool, it was
right.
never put yourself out there and hope to gain success in, like, what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have obviously a huge, social media following. Not I mean, on Instagram, TikTok is wild, but with Instagram at the time, were you gaining a bunch of followers and people are like, "Oh," it like, "Well, what I'm doing is obviously working." And your no posts aren't getting you
Not
much
really.
any farther.
You know what, I think until if I didn't have TikTok to be able to cross over to Instagram,
Mhm.
um, like, beforehand, we didn't have Reels. So,
Right.
in a way, I think if you weren't established, it was, like, early on when Instagram started as a thing or was first established as a platform, if you weren't, like, right on that, it was really hard to be seen.
Mhm.
Your stuff I don't know, at least for me. I mean, I
Yeah,
was
for
thinking
sure.
I think if anything, it was very saturated and hard to really gain people's attention. Um, I think I had, like, 3,000 followers in high school or something like that, and
Probably more than everyone else at your school, to be honest.
I don't really yeah, I don't remember, but I don't know. I think
Uh,
there's a few that maybe had, like, 10K or something, but yeah, I don't know. It was
uh,
definitely a lot harder. I did have some followers from YouTube, I do know that,
uh,
and that always made me feel good about posting.
sure.
Yeah.
So with your music, did it like what kind of was it just posting a lot? Like what kind of was there a moment when things just really spiked for you? I know you have, even after that Ghost EP, all the songs are like, 500,000 million plays, and then obviously the newest one is like 10 million or something wild or
Mhm.
more, like 11 million. Like was there a moment or a song or something that really kind of skyrocketed you, or was it always just kind of like this gradual process? And I mean, with TikTok, you have millions of followers.
Mhm.
Is that something
Maybe
like kind of tell me about that process?
yeah. So after I graduated high school, I went to college for a semester to play sports. So I grew up playing sports. I was an
Oh,
athlete.
what did you play?
I played soccer, softball, and volleyball.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
very like active. Like my family is music aside. I know we're talking about music, but music aside, like we're athletes. Like so.
Oh, wow. Damn.
But
So
anyway,
you had all the success as a musician, but also to go to college for a
yeah.
sport. That's like crazy in itself. Did you go to school in Utah?
Yeah, I did, but I only went for a semester, so I played softball my whole life, and then soccer I played just my junior year of high school. I I played volleyball my sophomore year, and since they're both the same season, it was like give or take.
Mhm.
So junior year, I chose to play soccer. Who knows why? I played when I was younger, up until I was 11, but I wasn't, trained athletically in that way anymore, but everybody was like, "Lily, please, please try out. Like, we need a goalkeeper." And I was like, "Okay, fine." But I said, "I have no idea what I'm doing. Never played goalkeeper. I played field. Like, I was not a goalkeeper." But anyways, I went and did it, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I just remember having the best time. Like my junior year soccer season was probably one of the best like highlights of my high school career or whatever.
Sure.
Um I took fourth in state out of all goalkeepers. I was starter
Dang.
varsity. I was balling out. I was
Yeah,
like, this is my
and did
jam.
never play yeah, no, going into it your junior year, you're like, "Yeah, why
Yeah.
not?" Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And I
That's
mean, it was definitely a learning process, but I I like to think I pick up things fast. So when it
sure.
came to okay, drop kick the ball, I didn't know how to drop kick a ball, so I just threw it. And I had an arm because of softball, so I just would huck that thing. And it was actually like preferred by a lot of my teammates because it eventually I could drop kick better than I could
Bro.
throw it, right? Which was the goal. But when I threw it, I could throw it directly to the person.
You could be probably a lot more accurate with your
I could throw
throw.
it exactly to their feet
Right.
versus like drop kicking. Hope somebody gets it. you know? So, but anyways, I didn't end up playing my senior year. I did preseason, but I ended up not doing that. And then I got a call from a college that was like, "We saw your uh saw your stats from your junior year and would love for you to come play for us." So I was
Wow.
like, I wasn't planning on going to college, but I didn't really know what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to do music, but I was very just like, okay, I'll try it out just to try it out. And I
Mhm.
hated it. I hated college. But why would I like college if I don't like high school?
I was just gonna
No.
say, you have kind of a theme with you not liking school already, so you're like,
No.
"Yeah,
It's
let me
just
go to this other thing and
yeah,
try
let
that."
me just go through this again. No. I mean I enjoyed the sport aspect of it, but other than that, after my semester of college finished, I just even throughout college though, I was still posting. I still
Mhm.
posted my music, and me and my friends, we started to hop on TikTok. My friends were like, "Download this app," and we were making the most stupidest of videos. And then I noticed that I didn't see very much music on there, so I was like, "I'm gonna start posting my own stuff on there."
Oh, wow.
And I just started doing covers. And I remember one getting like 200K views and just like freaking out. But it was like a silent like freak out, because I wasn't telling everybody like, "Oh my gosh, I just got 200K views." It was like a silent like little excitement for me, to be
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
just
this
for
is
you.
awesome." Yeah. And I started going live on TikTok in college as well. It was 2019, fall 2019. Started
Okay.
going live and streaming on there, and I'd have, like, 40 people in my live and just would talk to random strangers, you know?
Mhm.
And anyways, but I remember doing a specific cover and it doing so well, and it did not do well for, like, the right reasons. It was because I was being made fun of. But I it what is it called? It was "Barking" by Rams. That's the song.
Okay.
And everybody was like, "If you're from London, you know this sounds terrible, right?" I believe the guy's from London or something, I don't know. But I look back at that and laugh at myself because I see what everybody was saying. It was very I really had, like, an accent going, a nice little UK thing going on. I don't really know what I was doing, but, you know how people will be like, "Oh, she sings in cursive." Have you
Huh.
ever like, "Oh, he literally sounds like he's singing in cursive." That's what the majority of the comments were. It was
No, I
like,
haven't heard that. I guess I'm too old and out of touch. But that's
"Cursive singing." And
cursive
anyways,
singing.
it's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. It's
Okay.
just not. And
It
so
sounds cool. I would like
it's
to if
not
somebody's like, you sound like you sing," 'cause cursive is so, like, beautiful, right? And so
it's so
artistic.
beautiful.
So you would
Yeah,
think, like, "Oh, she sings in cursive." Would be like, "Oh, damn, she must be really good."
yeah. Yeah, no, I don't really know what it was, but I ended up taking it down and then, but I still kept posting covers, and then eventually once the semester stopped is when I put out my first original on TikTok. And that's when, like, the stars aligned and everything happened is I got 1,000,000 views overnight on my own original, and I was just floored, like, I was so excited,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I stayed up all night. I just stayed up all night just watching the numbers climb, and I was just geeking. I was so excited, and it was just a sense of relief almost
Mhm.
and reassurance that what I'd been doing was finally paying off, like, that I was doing the right thing, you
Right.
know? Leaving college, that was the right thing, like, Lily just needed to get up I needed to get up and get out of there, and I
Yeah.
should have sooner.
Posting more than once a day or doing all the things that people were you're
Yeah.
kinda self-conscious about were that ended up paying off huge.
Yeah, definitely. And I ended up posting the next day a cover. I was like, "Oh, maybe that was just a fluke," you know, because remember little Miss Lily refreshing the page. I was like, "Maybe this was just a fluke." And it did okay. It didn't do as well, right? And then the next day after that, I posted another original and it did 2,000,000 overnight. And I was like, "Wow,
Oh,
like
found
this
my
is
thing. What was the
this."
first song that you posted that had the 1,000,000 views?
You know, I never released it.
Oh,
It was
really?
yeah.
That's interesting, even though it did so well.
Mhm. I'm trying to think. I don't even think I finished the song. It was or I did eventually, but I can't even tell you the name
Oh,
right
all
now,
good.
I'm, like, thinking
What
about
it
it.
did was the next one that did 2,000,000 a song that you put out?
Yeah, and
Okay.
that one was called Nightmare.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, and that
Yeah,
one did
that's,
really
like, your
well.
probably biggest one as of now, right?
Yeah, that one or Easy.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I put out Nightmare. I got it out in, like,
Oh, yeah,
ASAP.
Easy has a little bit I mean, more, but, like, I mean, there's so many I mean, like, 15,000,000 views on or plays on that song. Wow.
Yeah,
But
but
to
so
get
I
people to go to Spotify too, like, leave TikTok, that's even a feat in itself because
yeah,
just because you like the song there and you can, "Oh, this is a cool video," like, now you have to leave that app, open another app, and then, like, listen to the song there. I mean, it's like you're it's hard to get people to do one move, and it's like now you're getting them to do 2 or 3 to get to your
yeah.
song on Spotify, so
Especially when you have people asking for it. It's like, "When are you putting this out? Where can I listen to this?" It was so exciting to be like, "Oh, yeah, we're getting this out." And we
that's
did.
awesome.
Like, me and I mean, my mom, like, she's always been, like, doing the thing with me, and she was just like sorry, I don't know. I don't know. And did you hear that? I don't think there was, like, construction. Anyways,
Oh, I barely it didn't
okay,
doesn't matter.
okay. Well, so anyways, we got that song out ASAP,
Mhm.
and it was obviously awesome that we did because people were still excited about it. And I want to say it was like one in a week or something, 1 to 2 weeks we got the song out. So it was like
Wow.
record
So
out, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and my goal, I believe in college, I had 10K followers from like covers.
Mhm.
And then I had a
On
goal.
on TikTok, is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I should have specified. But
No, no,
I
no,
had 10K followers on TikTok. And then I had a goal for myself to get like 30K by the end of the year. And I had a couple weeks to do that. Right. But I was like, I'm going to get there. And those originals were posted, and I had over 130K by the beginning of the year. I was just like, this is
oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it just like it's just started to just work its way up from there.
Yeah, just kept snowballing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, like, well, yeah, when the song's doing well, it's like you kinda have to strike when the iron's hot. Like, okay, people right now are they want this song, I gotta put it out, versus, like, waiting 6 months and then the video is forgotten about, maybe, or
Yeah.
people could still care, but it's not as, like, in the moment. Is that what you
Yeah.
had to do with, like, Easy? Was that just kinda working for you? Like, you'd kinda test a song out on your TikTok, and if it did well, it's like, "Oh, we know to go to this one to record it."
Yeah. That's definitely what I did. I
That's
did that with
brilliant.
Nightmare and Easy, and then you know what? The other songs have been a little bit slower to get out. Um
But they all have
and
s I mean, it's not like they do bad. I mean,
no,
like, every one of your songs just crushes it. It's crazy.
thank you. I do, I do think there is something in getting the songs out as soon as you can though. Like there's
Mhm.
something in that. If you can do that, you should. Because
Right.
people are excited about it, and not that they're not going to be excited about it when you finally get to be able to, if it's months down the road, but that eager and excitement and all their feelings that they felt for the song are happening right in that moment. And if you can catch that, do it, you know do it,
100%. And
because or they'll be like, Lillian, I now am in a relationship, so thanks a lot for not putting it out when I said I needed it.
I'm happy in my
Yeah,
life now.
I'm happy.
Now
Like,
Uh,
dang it.
that's hilarious. So, with the what about the move to LA? Like, do you having these songs do really well and, your TikTok's blowing up, do you start getting messages from managers and record labels like, "Oh, hey, like, what do you got going on?" Like this blah, 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 blah. I mean, at that point, are you people reaching out to you like industry people, and does that then take you to Los Angeles? Like,
I moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago, and that was after I started to have
yeah,
gained a
success.
following, yeah, success, if you will. But, I was being reached out by a lot of people in the
Mhm.
industry. I was very new to it, though, as much as I'd been in it, I was new to the world of record labels and managers and all of that stuff. I didn't know what I was doing in that sense.
Right.
I I was having meetings with my mom and these managers, and really trying to find somebody that I connected with. And I believe it was during COVID too, so or right before COVID. And so it wasn't everything was on
Yeah, it wasn't
Zoom.
like ideal time for
It
this all
wasn't an
to work.
ideal time. Yeah. I did have a manager, I think soon after all of that started happening, and I worked with him for about 6 months, and had gone out to LA, recorded with a few people for a month, and that was before COVID. And then after that, yeah, COVID hit, and but I was grinding. Like I was posting insane amounts on TikTok, 6 to 7 times a day. Like I just was hammering out videos left and right because I enjoyed doing it. Like,
Uh,
it was just so fun for me, and I had such crazy engagement, especially during COVID, that it was just like every video was just hitting what it needed to.
mhm.
And, um, things slow down sometimes, and that's okay, and I think that keeps us humble, and that
Sure.
needs to happen. But, yeah, it was hard for me to navigate it at first, but I eventually did. And I recently signed to Big Machine in July
Yeah,
of last year.
which is
So
huge. That's here in Nashville, right? Big Machines in Nashville, I think?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
in Nashville. But that was a scare for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was scary because I had been independent my whole life, right?
right.
And putting faith into somebody else is hard to do sometimes, especially when you're just having to go, okay, I know you have all this credibility and and I know all of these things, right, that you're telling me, but I don't know, you know?
Right, but, what are you gonna do? I think you kinda had leverage in a way because you're like, "Well, what are you gonna do for me? Look what
Mhm.
I've achieved and built
On my
without
own.
be on my own. I don't have a label, I have no one to answer to, and I'm doing this and it's working."
Yeah,
Right, I think that's the thing about the industry now where it's like they could find you and you're killing it, and that's what they want, but you also
yeah,
have the leverage to be like, "Well, yeah, I am, and I'm doing these things, so
yeah,
tell me what the benefit of this is. What will the benefit be for me instead
yeah,
of being desperate and being like, "Please, I'm sending all
yeah.
these demos out to everybody and just like, please sign me." And then they could just be like, we'll give you this. But you had the success to
Mhm.
back it up and just say, "Yeah, okay, let's go."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I never reached out to anybody.
That's
I was like
huge.
I was just but that's how I've always looked at it is I've worked my butt off, like, worked so hard, right? And, yeah, I did all of this on my own, and now it's crazy because I always said, "Until everybody's knocking on my door, am I going to accept a deal?"
Mhm.
Because I wanna make sure that I'm in the position where I do have that leverage to be able to be like, "No, I know my freaking worth, and, like,
Right.
you're gonna see it." And so, yeah, I was always very, "I'm gonna wait till it feels right," and I'd been offered for years for like, I'd been offered deals,
Mhm.
and I said no to every single one of them because I was just like, "It's not the right time." And I know that it's not, and when it is, I'll know. And I'm so fortunate because I do believe that I made the right decision, and I do have people who are just as excited, if not more excited, about everything that I'm doing. And if the people you work with are not more excited than you, like if they're not meeting you or like further along than you about just like how excited they are, then do not work with them. Like that's if I had any advice to give to anybody, it's that like
Well, I'm
if
gonna
they
ask you that at the end too. So you can say it now, but I'm gonna re-ask you.
oh yeah, we can then
No,
we'll
no, but I love that. I don't wanna interrupt you.
but no,
Um,
it's I mean that's the thing is I just knew that that's what I wanted. I've always known what I wanted, and um, I'm grateful to be able to have that, you know?
yeah, especially I'm sure even after after Easy or what any of them that go record
Yeah,
labels are trying to contact you. People are coming out of the woodwork like, "Hey, you have this song. I could make you so famous, or I can make you
yeah,
this. I could do this for you." And you're like, "Well, why? I've already done this, right? What?" So now you're at a point where yeah, you said people are more excited about it, or I'm sure just as excited as you are,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
But that are there to support you and know what you want and know that you can succeed whether or not they're there or not. But obviously, they're going to give you a lot of resources that you might not have as an independent
yeah,
artist.
and that's
Um,
really what it comes down to is there's things that I am unable to do by myself, that's
And you
like
need a
that's
team of people or
yeah,
doing it all on your own is, I'm sure,
it's a
very
lot.
draining, and it's a lot, and there's so many moving pieces that you have to get together, and it's just like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh." But, so going into you recorded that EP when you're 15. We didn't really talk about where you did that. Was that just like a local like, you just went to somebody locally and tried to find it? And obviously, you have another EP coming out that I wanna talk to you about, but, like, that process must have been much different that
yeah.
time around versus, like,
Well, I had
early.
been working with the same producer since I was 13, and
Really? So the
yeah,
person that did that first one, you're still working with that person today?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow. So I guess it might not have been
and
that big of a difference.
well, the thing is he taught me a lot, he
Uh-huh.
was a big mentor of mine, and he's the one who taught me how to songwrite. He would take me, like we would meet at my grandparents, like, and, uh, I would have to show up with a stack of papers because I would write on paper, and I would show up with a stack of papers of all the songs that I was working on and bring them to him, and we just go through the songs, and I'm telling you, I think there was maybe 2 yeses out of the 100 songs or whatever, right? And it was just and these weren't just concept ideas, it was, "Here's your song, here's a song, here's a song," like,
Whoa.
song, 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 song. And my mom sitting in, like, the sitting on the couch, like, kind of on the side, and I'm, like, side-eyeing her because here he is like, "No, no, no,
Like
no," and I'm like, "That one was good, like, what do you mean?" But that taught me so much. It taught me so much, and I really do think that that made me think a lot more outside of the box. A great way to write is what somebody also taught me this was imagine a Coke can, and you have to tell me 10 different things about that Coke bottle. Like, you have to tell me there's has to be 10 ways that you can talk about this. And so a lot of the times, like, I'll write down the first idea that I have, and then I'm like, okay, this was so easy for me to write. Now, how else can I say this?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, everything's already been written, and it's just all about how can I say this in the way that nobody else has.
right, right. I've heard
Um,
people say, like, if you're writing lyrics down or something, and you're like, "Oh, that's a really good line," then
mhm.
take it out and then keep like, it's almost like you remove that and then try to rewrite it, and then if you can put it back in, but you don't
Yeah,
want that to just be like, "I wrote this great line, so now I have to write a song around this one good
yeah.
thing I came up with." So they say pull that out and then try to continue with it. I don't write songs, so I don't know if that's a good idea, but I just remember hearing somebody say that. I was like,
I
"That's
haven't
interesting. You're gonna get rid of the best part? Like, I don't understand that."
Yeah, I haven't done that. Usually I'll, like, comb through the song that I've
Mhm,
written and be like, "Okay, this is, like, the weakest link. This could be better. This could be better. This could be better." After I've written the whole thing, I'll do that, and
mm,
I'll assess what I think needs to be stronger than what it is, or maybe there's a better way that I could say it.
mhm.
And I when I write, I work from, like, top to bottom. I write the verse, the pre, and then the chorus. Very, very rarely will I write the chorus first, and a lot of people think you should write the chorus first and then build around it, and it'll be easier to add the verses because then you know the concept of the song, but I just write a lot from feeling and experience, and so usually I just write a verse and then a pre, and then I'm like, "Okay, now what am I really trying to say? Like, what is the message that I'm trying to really send home to people and or just say on this song, what am I really trying to get out here?" And because usually when I write, I'm not really thinking of other people necessarily, right? So I
Which is
can't say like,
probably the way the re one of the reason why you're so successful too, right? You're not like, "I'm gonna write this song because I think I
yeah,
should." It's, "I'm gonna
yeah,
write this song because it's true to me," and that's why people can relate because they also have dealt with a similar thing, or they'll relate to the song in a way that maybe it wasn't your intention for writing it, but they have their own feeling and they connected to it, so then that's now their feeling
yeah,
for this song.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like to work without anything, you know.
Mhm.
I don't like a production already made for me. I know how to write to a production, but if I had it my way, we'd both start from scratch.
I love that. Yeah.
Create our own piece from it. Yeah.
So tell me about this EP. You've had how many songs are out thus far? Is it just Call Me Yours and um House of Lies? I Don't Know
And
Her. Is that one part of it too?
yeah, so I don't know
Okay.
her, Possibilize, and Call Me Yours. Those are the 3 that
Okay.
are on so far. We're working on the next song right now. We're just having to fine tune things. You know, it's been like a back and forth process of actually this needs to be tweaked, this needs to be tweaked, you know.
Mhm.
Um, you have a lot more people who have a say in things too, so which isn't
Yeah,
bad.
I bet.
But you have a lot more people being like, actually, let's do this. And I in a way I do like it. You know, I think people can hear things that you can't.
Mhm.
And but yeah, we're just working on getting that one out right now. But
Love
I'm
it.
excited about it. And I'd say that I don't even want to say what song it is yet
'Cause it
because
might change.
it might
Kidding.
and I don't want to let people down. Yeah. I'm pretty positive, I'm 99% sure that's the one, but the 1% chance is what I'm not gonna say.
That's a
But if
good idea.
there's another one that's coming out super, super soon.
Amazing. Well, what can you say about is Call Me Yours the newest one that you put out?
No, actually, House of Lies is.
Oh, House of Lies. You just released a different version of Call Me Yours? I saw that
Yeah,
something about that. Okay.
it was
That's what
the
it was.
I released the clean version, and then, it started to really pick up on TikTok, the explicit did, and then
Oh,
I released House of Lies, and then I released Commonwealth
it's
Explicit. Yeah.
okay. Well, was there a reason that you put out the clean version and then didn't go with their explicit?
Yeah. Yes. So, when I first did that song, I really feel like I was in a headspace if I don't care,
Mhm.
and I try not to swear, it's really something that I don't like to do in my especially in my music.
Yeah,
You
you
know, I
haven't
want
swore once on this podcast, which I was a lot of I mean, it doesn't matter if you do, but I mean, most people just in normal conversations say like in a handful of cuss words. So I was
yeah.
actually noticing that. I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay."
Oh, love that. But I don't that's something that I want my songs to be for all audiences, I want everybody to be able to listen to it, and when I wrote that song, I was very like, "Yeah, let's say that," like, let's throw that in there, and as I sat with it, I posted it on TikTok, and it did so well. It did so well. It had, like, 30,000 videos made to it. It was just popping off
Dang.
insane, and I'm like, "I need to get this out." I didn't get it out for, I think, 2 years. And
Really?
then I ended up removing the sound because I was like, "I'm not releasing that version." I had 2 years to sit on it. If we would've gotten it out immediately, maybe I wouldn't have had time to change my mind. But
Right.
I had like "Okay, this doesn't sit right with me anymore. This isn't something that I want to put out there." And anyways, so I put out the clean, and then somebody There was a there was somebody who like just uploaded a video, and it was from when that sound was available for people to use, and they just reposted their own video with that sound, right? And anyways, and that thing popped off, like that thing blew up. Another 30K videos made to it, and I was like,
You're like, "Ah, I gotta put that cuss
I
words,
gotta
those
put
cuss
that
words in
out.
there."
But it also made me a little sick, not gonna lie, because I originally didn't I mean, I didn't want to anymore, right? So then all of a sudden I'm like, "Dang, why can't the clean just pop off like that?" I do believe that the explicit has a lot more emotion into it, but I do think both versions give a different kind of emotion.
Mhm.
The clean to me is more sad. And then the explicit maybe is a little bit more like has a little bit more oomph to it, like a little
Yeah.
anger, right? And people liked it. So I ended up just being like trying to look at the bigger picture of things. And I would like to say I made the right decision, and I hope that I did, right? At
Mhm.
the end of the day, I just want people to be able to relate to my music and hope that it helps them. And I've had a lot of people be like, this literally helped me in so many ways, like you don't even know, or this helped me leave my toxic relationship or the situationship that I was in. And that's enough for me to be like, okay, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
And even if it might go against a little bit of like how I feel, you know
Yeah.
yeah, it's like swearing around your parents, right? If you swear around your parents, it's a little "Mm," like you know actually, this is a perfect example.
I was gonna
When
say
you're
my parents swear on me forever.
maybe not even that. Well, here's the thing is, it's not that I grew up without, like, swearing.
Right,
It's
but I
I
mean,
I can say I swear, right? I swear. I try not to. It's not what I like to put that's not my best foot forward,
I
right?
love that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it's like when you're in the car listening to a song with your parents, and all of a sudden you start listening to the words, and you're just like, like, "Oh my gosh, I need to change the song. Like, what is this saying?"
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's almost a moment like of that. I don't want to put. I want everybody to be able to listen to it and have that, not have that feeling.
Right. No, that's
You know?
awesome. I respect that a lot. That's really
And nobody
really
understood.
cool.
Everybody was mad at me. They're like, "Why aren't you putting out the explicit version? You teased us with this and then you took it away. Like, that was so
Mm.
terrible of you." And but I saw the video, all the videos doing well. I saw how many people were making videos to it and how much people were impacted positively by it. And was like, okay, I gotta claim this. Like, this is my shit. Like, oh,
Oh, you don't have
excuse
to worry
me.
about that's what I'm saying.
This is, excuse me, but this is
You
mine.
don't have you can swear on this. It doesn't
Still,
matter.
still. But
That was
anyways,
awesome, though. That was, like, the perfect way to cuss.
well, that's, yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, that
So
was so funny.
yeah, but that's why
Um,
yeah.
I was just curious, before I ask you that same last question again, but was the version that went on TikTok the one that had the explicit version that people were making in the videos to, was that you just doing it onto the camera, or was that, like, a recorded piece that you had went to a studio and recorded, or did you have to go to the studio and be like, "Oh, now I gotta cut this song
Mhm.
with the cuss words in it"?
So the first time I posted it, I had already recorded half the song. We hadn't finished it yet. So
Okay.
we had up until the chorus, and I teased the chorus and it did well. And then I went back into the studio and we finished the song.
Mhm.
But like I said, it had been finished 2 years ago and it
Right.
took a while for it to get out. So at that point, like I said, I sat with it and I was like, we just need to change it to the clean. So we went back into the studio. I
Re-record the chorus.
re-recorded the clean, and then that was that. But now there's 2 versions that people can listen to, and if they don't wanna hear that, they can listen to the clean version, or
Right.
I I'm sure there's some people out there who don't mind, cussing, but they prefer the clean. So,
Right.
just all up to people at that point, and
Their
yeah.
preference now. So that
Yeah.
version that's out now is 2 years old. That's when you had the emotion probably behind it and everything, right? With the cuss
Yeah,
words.
it is. And even listening to it, I'm like, "Oh, that's so good."
Ah.
You know? But because it was genuine. It was so
Mhm.
genuine.
Right.
Um, yeah. And it's not I didn't say it in a I had to tell myself, like, remind myself that I didn't say it in a gross way or anything. It was all just stemming from an emotional place, you know?
Right.
Like, it wasn't a raunchy way of saying it, right? Does
Yeah.
that
It
make
wasn't
sense?
you weren't just being vulgar. It
There's
was
a
like it just
difference.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just that's just the way that you really that you needed to express your emotions.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Mhm. Well, I love it. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to the EP. I don't know if you even have a date on that. It might change, but do you have like are you allowed to say anything about that?
Don't ask. Stay
Ah,
tuned.
okay, stay tuned. I love it. Well, Lillian, thank you so much for your time today. This has been so much fun. I have one more question, and you were answering earlier, then I cut you off. But do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
You know what? I just say stick to what you're doing. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. And if you give up, then that's on you at the end of the day. So if it's something that you're passionate about, I believe this in every little thing in life. If you want something to happen, it's up to you to make it happen. And if you make the steps to get there, it just will. Like, you could be a terrible singer, and if you sang every freaking day and posted every single day, you're gonna get a career. Like, I just really believe that because it's something that you're putting forth effort. Because, along the road, you'll probably get a little bit better at singing. If it's something that you're passionate about, you're gonna make it happen. And if you're consistent, consistency is key. That's my advice is consistency is key.
Bringing it backward.